Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, when we last left off, we had recently had Franz Joseph come to power. He is historically the fellow who led the Austrian Empire all the way until World War One. So we're going to see kind of how that goes. Tech-wise, we got chemical bleaching in the works. We're working on a few other production techs. After that, let me check where I am with military. Okay, military, we've just barely started the first tier, or the third tier. In society, we are still knocking out the tier 2s. Okay, so I think a priority from here is going to be to snag all of the rest of the tier 2s. I'm going to get postal savings through tech spread, which is fine. We'll grab quinine, we'll grab psychiatry, and then we're going to make a beeline toward joint stock companies. Or, no, sorry, toward steel frame buildings. And that's going to get our construction really popping off. Which, it already is, but, it's gonna be good long term. Alright, let's get ourselves unpaused here. We've still got quite a bit of debt, so we're kind of chilling on building, although I could do wars. I do love doing a good old war. A war often reduces debt, right? Ooh, chemical bleaching. That's right. That's the thing I was working on. Alright, so you can produce more. You said you were gonna be more profitable, sir. You said you were gonna be more profitable. Okay, you're kind of more profitable. Ooh, you're mostly not. So, we'll hop back to ceramics. That'll be fine. Paper mills, you are definitely going to be more profitable, though. Where do I have steel mills running West Galicia? Does West Galicia not have anybody living in it? Nope, West Galicia's got plenty of people. Okay, that's curious. I do have the ability to bring shipyard production methods up, but I don't necessarily want to do that right now. Ditto for the military. Because I don't necessarily need to produce more ships. Alright. And we do have... Oh, no, not in the customs union. We don't have dye plantations in the customs union. Great Britain's going after Kalat. Not something I need to concern myself with. Still got this little bit of Hohenzollern over here that I will eventually desire to seize from Prussia, along with much, much else. But for now, we're chilling, keeping our infamy low and our government clean and lean. And we're actually chipping away at this debt at a very reasonable rate. Dealing in arms. The establishment of the munitions plants in Styria ensures an abundant supply of ammunition for Austria. I resent the term arms dealer. It implies that I am no more than a cynical profiteer, benefiting from the suffering of my fellow man. Nothing can be further from the truth. What I do guarantees peace and security, not only in Austria, but throughout the civilized world. If you want peace, prepare for war. Extra munitions building through. Yes, indeed. Have I only just gotten munitions plants? No, I've had them. Sorry, this is not. Kalat backs down. Cool. Alright, and that gives us a little bit more influence to play with. That's right, France is doing a republic, and we're trying to be better friends with them, so they'll help us fight the Prussians, which we do desire to do. Kind of long term. We also desire to fight the Ottoman, who has gotten back control of Egypt, it seems like, which is exciting for him, but not for me. Where am I getting money from? I'm getting treaty goods transfer income. Ah, because I'm selling goods. And then treaties, this is goods transfer expense, because I'm buying goods. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure how to reckon that, but it is what it is. Government's a little contested. We could be doing better. We could be doing better in terms of overall legitimacy. We still have subjecthood. We could go to cultural exclusion. I don't think anyone will be too unhappy with that. A lot of movements will be pleased, and that's going to give me, that should give me a lot of enactment chance overall. But will that actually help me? I think it will. So let's take a quick look at. I always do this. I always say I'm not going to be reforming, and then I always kind of reform. So like I could go to appointed bureaucrats, and that would be better for me overall, because reduced bureaucracy population cost modifier does nothing for me. And appointed bureaucrats is really quite good. Extra taxation capacity is really strong. But do I want to do that? Or do I want to do something more well endorsed? I do have the ability to go to restricted child labor, but the industrialists would be mad about that. So subjecthood. Low acceptance pops face moderate penalties, but accepted pops receive few benefits. If I went to something more open like cultural exclusion... Let me see, I would get the same amount of... I would get a little bit less authority from cultural exclusion. And again, it's 30 acceptance from homeland in this. So that's, 40 and 40 for language and heritage trait. Or 40, 20 and 20, which is 40. And 30 from homeland gives you 70 for having heritage and language trait the same. Cultural exclusion makes that way, way higher. All the way up to 100, frankly. If I go to cultural exclusion, though... Right, yes. So the matter of Hungary is a thing that I need to consider. So, we'll complete at least one of these. Establish the dual monarchy, which I don't wish to do. Because we need to have... Yeah, because it stops us from forming Germany, and I would kind of like to form Germany. We'll see if I decide to do that, but yeah, I need the I need Hungarians to have 70 or more acceptance. Hungarians in Austria are that's forever. So here's base acceptance. They have a European heritage trait, and their language trait, I believe, is Magyar. Which, again, my impression is it's pronounced with a D, even though we spell it with a G. If I'm wrong about that, feel free to let me know. Yeah, Magyar here. Trait group European, culture is Hungarian and Zeckler. Right, and then Hungarian's the language. Trait group Uralic. Interesting. Okay, so there's no shared linguistic tradition, but there is a shared European heritage. So under cultural exclusion, here in subjecthood, we should see Hungarians at 60 from heritage trait, plus, no, 50 from heritage trait group, plus 10 from homeland, and then if I can get to... If they're also Christian, which most of them are, that's shared religious traits, I think, which should get us the any Catholic Hungarians are going to get the extra 20 from state religion. That's going to get them up to 70. No, I don't think it's going to work. No, it is going to work, because they're going to get the extra 10 from homeland. So it's going to be 50 from cultural exclusion, 10 from homeland. Who are you going after? You're going after Burma here. All right. And then 20 from Catholics and religious traits Christian, and then 15 for Protestant or Orthodox Hungarians. So let me take a look at the census data. Let's do state culture. All the Hungarians... No, all the... There's a none button. So Hungarians. So show me in pie chart. So religion, we are 4.46 million Catholics, 1.68 million Protestants. And Protestants also have the Christian trait, which Catholics also have. So Protestant gets the additional 15 acceptance. So we're looking at, under cultural exclusion, we're looking at 15 plus 50 from culture plus 10 for homeland. And that should satisfy, average total acceptance. That should get us there for almost all Hungarians, and that should be sufficient. So, let's do it. Cultural exclusion, ahoy. Unfolk will be mad. Intelligentsia will be very happy. Success chances are pretty good, you know, because of all these cultural movements. And I'm going to lose a little authority, but that is just A-okay on my part. The Kleinberger have become unhappy? No, who's costing me bureaucracy? Where in particularism? Reduce bureaucracy. Oh, interesting. Extra radicals from low legitimacy. That doesn't actually impact me. Alright, so we'll cut a small consumption tax. We will build a slight increase to the size of the government. And we'll build it in Transdanubia, who's already low on taxation capacity. We'll build, let me see, what method are we using for government buildings here? Hey, baking powder. I definitely won't forget to implement that. Okay, so we should be getting, we'll do one more. Alright, so before I forget and leave it baking powder not enabled for half the game. Patent stills? No. Go back to pot stills. Why are you unhappy with baking powder? What's going on? What's going on? You don't have any sugar? Is that your problem? You don't have the sugar? You should have the sugar. Where's the sugar? It's here. It's here. You're bringing in sugar. It's fine. But you're paying tariffs on it. And we're getting it mostly from trade. Alright, so we're going to set sugar to no modifiers in the trade system. Hopefully that's going to make the food industries more productive. Hopefully it's going to make the food industries more productive. Guys, what's going on with you? Groceries is staple good? Groceries are staple good. Let's subvene exports, I guess. That's going to make exporting groceries more productive. And that feels like the right call. I can't believe this. Why are these places so unable to produce? What's going on here? Talk to me. What's your issue? What's your problem? You think you'll be more productive if I add a glass input. And how's glass in the market? Glass is a luxury good. So it should be in this list. Glass is an industrial good. Glass is an industrial good. Glass is dirt cheap in this market, and we're exporting a lot of it. So if I enable patent stills, you think you'll be more productive, and you will be. Okay. And then liquor, staple good, is a luxury good? Yes. This luxury good is now being overproduced. So let's throw an export subvention on liquor, and that should make the food industries profitable. Whew! Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. What companies have I got? I got the combined Austrian armament. Sorry, I'm not playing this run as frequently as I should be. We're almost completely out of debt, so I think we can safely start building stuff again. My only subject is Switzerland. Is it not? Yes. And Switzerland is very low in liberty desire. Actually, They're getting down to the point where I can safely reduce their autonomy to a puppet, which would be very good. Ultimately, the plan is to annex them, and we'll see how that goes. Friends, I've mismanaged my water. I used the wrong ice, and it's like a third melted already, and the episode is only 15 minutes old. Monument to the Kaiser. A statue of Kaiser Franz Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen was commissioned, and it has been suggested that it be displayed proudly in Mähren, Moravia. Mähren? Mähren? I think Mähren is how you pronounce the A with the umlaut. I'm not super well schooled on that. Direct is how you would describe the face and the look of the statue when it smiles down you. Eyes that flicker in the opposite direction of the sun, though maybe you're just imagining it. Has anyone in the Victoriaverse ever considered making a statue whose eyes flicker in the same direction as the sun? Has anyone considered this? Paradox, hire me. A monument worthy of the Kaiser, 3% prestige, 2% of pops and Mähren become more radical. Or perhaps not everyone wishes to be reminded of the Kaiser. Austrian aristocracy unhappy. I'm going to go with the first one. I do not want the Austrian aristocracy to be unhappy. Those are my guys. My biggest guys. Law debate failed. Oh, now we're down to only 14%. Oh, big sad. 45% advance chance, though. Hopefully this won't take forever, I say, as even though it is pretty likely to take forever. So, economy is only 60 million. I think we should build up more stuff. I think we need to build up our textile industry and our furniture industry. So let's get working on that. Let me see. Just place the good predicted revenue. Good predicted revenue here. In Württemberg. West Galicia, not much. Transdanubia, some. I've zoomed in. And Moravia, put a little in there. Let's look at furniture workshops. Austria. Austria is a very productive place making furniture. Franken, a little bit. Slovakia, not as much. Nordsiebenbürgen, pretty productive. Croatia, not as productive, but we'll throw one in there. Baden, same deal. Banat, not so much at all. Alright, and I guess we'll throw another couple more levels in Austria. And that's obviously going to cost us a pile of cash, but expanding light industry is going to make our investment pool much more efficient. Investment pool is now reasonably sustainable with our current levels of construction because the government is spending government money building all that stuff up. Food industries are back to fully hiring, or mostly fully hiring, except here in Transdanubia and Slavonia. So that's also good. The ideal citizenry. Discussions on the nature of the national citizenship have emerged in the salons of Prague. The vision of South German primacy under cultural exclusion has come into conflict with more universalist ideals. Major Sachs is conspiring again. Werner swiveled his head to follow his friend's thumb. There indeed was the Major, clad in the same uniform as ever. He was leaning in to discuss something with his companion, more for appearances than any genuine desire for secrecy. So he is. Honor and loyalty, he always says. Honor and loyalty. We talked the other week about what makes for a good citizen, and he said the same thing. And what did you say? To be a good citizen, one must be a good South German. Extra enactment success chance, extra radicalism for everyone who is not in full acceptance during the thing. That's interesting. Kleinberger happier and stronger. That's not bad. Or he was right, of course, but loyalty most of all. Stronger armed forces. A little bit of extra enactment chance. I think I'm going to go with the first one. And we're going to see if that's a giant mistake. 15% enactment chance is nothing to sneeze at, so we'll... Oh, we got a real stall chance. Because the Austrian aristocracy are still a little bit unhappy, because they're still mad about land-based taxation. Well, hopefully that'll decay, and that penalty to their opinion will decay, and we'll lose some of this stall chance and all be in a happy spot in reasonable times. Now let's see. I'm still in the incorporation process for a lot of these states, so my finances are going to be a little tight for the next few years, just on account of I'm incorporating this new territory, and I'm not getting a lot of revenues from it yet. The Prussians, I feel reasonably confident in my ability to take them in a fight. The problem is if someone else shows up to help. And I don't wish that. Now, France, you do have an alliance, but it's with the USA. Interesting. Well, that's a shame. The USA often, I find, if I'm playing a European power, the USA often opposes me. France has done a good job of expanding in North Africa, but a poor job of expanding in West Africa, which Britain has overwhelmingly monopolized. So, see, now I could work on stealing some territory from the Ottoman. I might be able to get Serbia in this by promising them the rest of their states. And maybe... Oh, they're still a protectorate. That's right. We're still pretty early on in the game. Tell you what. I'm going to improve relations with Serbia, Wallachia, and I can't improve relations with Moldavia because I don't have the influence. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Hugo von Taufenbach, leader of the intelligentsia, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of cultural exclusion. Making an appearance before the public in Vienna's main square, Hugo von Taufenbach's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Austria, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. It should ease the path to reform greatly, 15% enactment success chance, or performances like this reflect well on Hugo von Taufenbach and his cause. I don't necessarily want the intelligentsia to be stronger. Well, no. I'm just going to pick the first one. I am going to be long-term staying in the kind of conservative milieu in terms of our overall state development. But I still do want to revise the cultural laws. This is going to make things better for basically everyone. It's going to cost me a little bit of authority, but it's gonna reduce assimilation a little bit. But that's okay. Assimilation is not a priority here. We are a large. Not exactly. Well, we are not doing a multiculturalism, but we are multicultural. We are a multicultural empire. What's this? Hohenzollerns' liberty desire is going up. Oh, because they're not economically dependent. Right. On account of... they have... They're not connected to the Prussian trade network anymore. That's very funny. What else am I spending authority on? I am still suppressing the liberal movement. I might be able to stop doing that. If I stop suppressing the liberal movement, what does that allow me to do? It allows me to enact a couple more consumption taxes. Postal savings. Excellent. Interesting that I can throw a consumption tax on small arms. I wasn't thinking my pops were doing a lot of shooting for fun. It would probably be on transportation. And that's okay. Yeah, I think maybe I'll give that a shot. So, let's go ahead and halt suppression of the liberal movement. And then, let's throw our consumption tax on transport. Kaiser of the South Germans. Encouraged by the government's efforts to enact cultural exclusion, South German nationalists have ceremonially offered Kaiser Franz Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen the title Kaiser of the South Germans. To accept the title would legitimize the claim that his power ultimately derives from the nation. When Napoleon took his crown, he swore to govern in the, quote, sole interest, happiness, and glory of the French people, unquote. This is what granted him his power, and allowed him to triumph over all of his foes. If the Kaiser wished, he could do the same with the South German people in mind. The Kaiser regarded the petitioner with a thoughtful expression on his face. And what became of Napoleon? He became immortal, my lord. Hail, Kaiser of the South Germans. Catholic Church becomes unhappy. -3 for compromised divine right. Interesting. but 20% extra enactment chance. Or power is derived from God, not the nation. 10% of aristocrats become more loyalist, and the Catholic Church becomes happier. Ooh. I'm gonna snag... I'm at 46% with 48% advance chance and only 3% stall chance. I'm gonna snag those loyal aristocrats. A happier Catholic Church is gonna be very good for me. A Sorb National Awakening. Sorb, a West Slavic culture in Saxony. How interesting. How many Sorbish people are there in Saxony? Not that many. Oh, not few, though. 168,000. Interesting. Well, once Saxony is part of Austria, those Sorbs will be well accepted in our new multicultural empire. Let me see. Transdanubia still needs a little bit more taxation capacity. I'm going to throw in one more government building just to give myself a little bit of a bureaucracy buffer. I don't have an institution increasing in size at present, but I'm definitely a little bit short on bureaucracy. Let me see. I do have quite a few nationally owned building levels, but I can't rightly privatize those very fast. I am building more of them, so, you know, that is what it is. We're increasing the overall size of the economy, at least I'm hoping so. How are we doing for industrial goods? Explosives are alright. Could definitely have more clippers, could have more iron. We're definitely going to need more steel long term. Obviously we're not producing any of our own dyes. Does Bosnia have the ability to produce dyes? I think it does. No, I'm wrong. So I think next we expand iron production. So there's some good places. Bohemia is quite a good, yeah, iron supply. Same with Styria. And some in Tyrol as well. Low construction efficiency there, that's fine. And we'll do a little bit more in coal as well. We'll just round these up to one level east. Austria Schlesien. Yeah, that's fine. And one in Transdanubia, 2 in Syria. That'll be fine. Plenty of coal mines there. Anywhere new we can build gold mines doesn't appear so. So next, getting our iron supply up. We're going to need more steel mills because we're going to go to steel frame construction. We've got a little bit of time before that happens because we're working on steel railway cars and dynamite. Kleinberger petitioned government. Franz Schiselka, the charismatic leader of the Kleinberger, has approached the government with a plan to enact restricted child labor. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Schiselka, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I... Schiselka gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. Pass restricted child labor. But they must understand the present situation doesn't allow for this. We'll see what we can do. I'm hoping I can make that happen. Subjects to citizens. The gradual transformation of Austria into a nation-state has created a need for new civics curricula in its schools. For a new civics curriculum in its schools. The new curriculum will elevate the history of the South German people over that of other nations. And what do I mean when I say to be a South German? Asked the teacher. One of the students rose to answer. To be a South German is to be proud, it is to be honorable, it is to defend our people, it is to serve God and the South German nation, and to respect our Kaiser and his ministers. The student stood stock still until the portrait artist in the corner of the room peeked out from behind his canvas. Well done, Sigmund. You may sit. Grant all the funding needed for these changes. Cost some cash, but gives us 20% enactment success chance. A slower process would ease the burden on our treasury. 10% enactment chance, but costs less. Or a history of Hohenzollern can be their first lesson. Fervor of South German is changed by 5, will result in a diplomatic incident in South Germany, giving 11 infamy to Austria, and reducing their relations to 17 countries. What an interesting outcome. I think I'm just going to spend the money. I'm actually going to go for a moderate spend of money. This gets me above 50%. I'm feeling very confident about my ability to do this eventually. The Catholic Church was very happy for a minute. Why are they unhappy now? Who's their leader? Who's running things around there? He's a traditionalist. Well, I was enjoying a happy Catholic Church for a bit. So now we got mines running, and I think once that happens... Let me see, how's the military looking? I'm going to change these army names to make them easier. So we'll call this the Austrian... security... The European Security Army. We'll call this one... I do like General Commando. We'll call them GK North. And we'll call this army GK South. And that'll be good. How are we looking in terms of overall unit composition? GK North and GK South could both use some additional artillerization. The European Security Army is fine. I know this is a little ambitious of me, but, you know, I'm not saying we're gonna definitely become Central Europe, but, you know, maybe we'll become a Central Europe. I do like being a Central Europe. We're paying a little bit in interest now, which is fine. Hey, law of progressive consideration. Wonderful. So maybe from here we'll go up to 50... infantry units. We'll do the same over here. Is that? No, that's a little too many. And then what we'll do is we'll throw a bunch more artillery in these armies. For this one, we'll go up to 30. So... 2... I should really look at how many I need total, huh? I need 11 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then for this army, I need 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16, 18. And finally, I'm fully balanced now. And by balanced, I mean I'm at whole numbers. We'll just throw one additional in Styria. And that should be just fine. And then, right, for GK General Command North, we'll throw 5 more cavalry units into Styria, and that'll be just fine. Law progressed to ascent. Wonderful. All right, we're moving at a brisk pace now with cultural exclusion, so that's very good. Do I want to still... Ooh. That's good. All right, so actually, I think from here, I build all of these armed forces buildings right now. Sure have queued in a lot of them, but them's the breaks. I do want to finish this furniture manufactory and the iron mines that are really close by. And next, we'll swap all of our mines over to using dynamite. And the sulfur mines are going to be inefficient, but them's the breaks. Munitions plants, explosive shells. Hell yes. Don't believe the haters, you can do it. And then explosives factories will turn on vacuum evap, and that's going to be just fine. That should make the sulfur mines more profitable. And Britain wants our help in a war. Britain, what are you doing? You're going to conquer the Tarim Basin, which is here. You're going to transfer Tibet. You're also trying to conquer Qinghai here, Ili, which is over here, and Zungaria over here. Britain, you're getting really ambitious over there. And what are you willing to give me? Oh, I'm allied with Britain. Well, then I will support you, sir. Let's send General Command South to Dinah. That's all we're going to do, though. I'm not going to put too much effort into this whole situation. You can tell it's been a while since I've played, because I just straight up forgot that I'm the Kashmir front. Ah, over there. Well, fair enough. I guess that is really the main front, if we're being realistic. And exploding demand. Wonderful. The development of more stable explosives has led to an uptick in demand for explosive materials. Our military and industrial sectors have entered a bidding war to secure shares of our production. Civilian applications? Really? What does a civilian firm want with 2,000 tons of dynamite? The Quartermaster General paced back and forth, clutching the dossier to his chest. If I had 2,000 tons of dynamite, I could equip an artillery corps for the year. I could fill warehouses with shells. It is regrettable, said the clerk, cautiously testing each word. A bidding frenzy has erupted over the material. Our current budget would buy us a fraction of what it should. Not ideal, thought the Quartermaster General, but survivable. Place the order and tell me the figure. I will petition the cabinet for twice as much. Increasing supply will lift all boats. Extra explosives factory throughput. I don't need that. The industrial sector will make best use of it. Extra mines throughput. I kind of want that. Or the military must have their cut. Extra munitions building throughput. I don't think I'm hurting for munitions, so we'll let the industrial sector have it. How are we doing with explosives? Explosives have become expensive. So, where are we producing our explosives? Because I can simply increase the size of the factories. Mostly Styria and Venice. Let's put 5 levels of explosives factories in Styria. And I will simply throw them at the top of the queue. I'll throw half of them at the top of the queue. I do want to continue my... Hey, there's cultural exclusion. Wonderful. So that's going to make all of our subject states, all of our subject populations a little bit happier. Now, Petit bourgeoisie want restricted child labor, and I'm going to take a shot at that. Stall chance is high. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's a war happening. Okay, so Schleswig-Holstein has got Prussia's going after Schleswig-Holstein. Schleswig-Holstein's got the French on their side. They want to bring me in. In exchange for what? A regime change in Russian-American company? I couldn't care less, sir. I don't seek regime changes. United States of America sides with Holstein. Alright, so now siding with Holstein seems a lot more tempting. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are aligning with them. Let's ask for a war goal. Let me see. A transfer of Hohenzollern would be nice. If I did a conquer war goal, what would I take? Braunschweig. Are they holding almost none of Braunschweig? They are holding almost none of Braunschweig. That's an interesting option. I'll be getting a lot of infamy. West Prussia is here. Can I get Oberschlesien? I can get Oberschlesien for only 21 infamy. Can I get a return? I can't. So I'm going to go for a conquer war goal on Oberschlesien. Now we're going to see if I can fight 2 wars at once. This might be very silly. I'm actually going to move... I'm actually going to get General Command South moving back to Austria. Because I think I'm going to need all my troops in Europe for this. Alright, there's the fronts. So let's go ahead and put this army here. We'll put this army here. Let's set both of their goals to grabbing that one state there. And Prussia doesn't have a front over here, so we'll just kind of see how things go. Am I still good for munitions? I certainly am. Alright, cool. So things are going to get pretty spicy now. Russia's damaging relations, that's not at all shocking. There's the war with Great Qing. Unfortunately, Britain is going to have to handle their own selves. I've gone to restricted child labor. The industrialists are big mad about me trying to restrict child labor. You guys are low on command capacity because a fella has died. Laval Nugent von Westmeath. Alright, so who can I get in here? Gerhard Schnorr von Karlsfeld. You're compliant. You're wounded. Extra morale loss. I don't love that. And you're an explorer. Let's go with this cautious guy, and then we'll see if we can get someone better. Okay, here's an industrialists guy. That's not bad. Traditionalist commander and honorable. Yeah, we'll take him. And then they're both Austrian aristocracy guys. Alright, and these fellows are on their way back. Let me make sure I'm good on mobilization methods. My mobilization methods could stand to be much better. But that's okay. Keeping my armies clean and lean is good business. Sensible. Let's get multiple explosives factories building at the same time. Let's get all those building up because we're going to need it for all the explosives, for all the munitions we're producing. The birth of an heir. The wife of Look at the little Kaiser outfit. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's adorable. The wife of Kaiser Franz Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen has birthed an heir to the Austrian throne. The birth of a much longed-for heir is cause for celebration across all of Austria. Rudolf von Habsburg-Lothringen will be raised as the future Kaiser of Austria. The child will carry the von Habsburg-Lothringen legacy forward. The future of Austria is bright. The voice of the nation. A group of respectable musical composers teaching at the Arts Academy in Franken have approached us. They've drawn attention to the alarming lack of a proper national anthem, fit to invigorate our people's spirits. Land of mountains, land by the river, glory is ours to deliver. We'll punish those Swedish who betrayed through the fire of the blade. That's very funny. I love that it picks a country you're rivaling. Now that's a cool anthem. Shabamzo. The anthem event should increase cultural fervor. Imho. Raising concerns. Did they not raise concerns? Interesting. Ottoman Empire has fallen in... Are they lose their Tanzimat? Yeah, they're a minor power now. Fascinating. The Catholic Church have expressed their concerns about government decisions clearly favoring the interests of the industrialists. Choosing is always hard, not because the decision is difficult to make, but because the consequences can be a bit inconvenient. Rumors are spreading like smoke from a factory, staining the clear air of Austria with a dense, vicious poison. This needs to be addressed. Catholic Church much happier, but industrialists much angrier. Or they need to accept we cannot always please everyone. Catholic Church reduced intergroup political strength and happiness. I'm going to do the second one. I can't afford to piss off the industrialists any more than I've already done. Force comparison is looking rock solid. Let's go ahead and throw a few more units into conscription. Well, actually, I have a lot of conscription capacity. Oh, right, because a bunch of these areas I haven't been conscripting at all. Right, because I haven't held the territory. That's exciting. So we'll do a little bit of more conscription over here. This is GK General Command North. General Command South definitely needs more conscription. Let me see. That's a reasonable amount, but let's get a few more, and then we'll stack up a bunch of artillery over here. Two arms. All right, beautiful. And that will make these armies very, very solid. So, let's see. Let's take a look. We're trying to go for Oberschlesien. We're safely ignoring China, allowing Britain to do their thing over there without Austrian intervention, which is fine. Do I continue to build, or do I save money? Russia withdraws from the Treaty of the Holy Alliance. Well, it had to go this way. Although they still have their alliance with Prussia. Oh, they've made their own alliance with Prussia. All right. Well, that them's the breaks. We are advancing forward. Stop withdrawing from treaties, you goober. You absolute dingus. You're an historical character. We'll give you a little promotion. What was I saying about not letting the Austrian aristocracy run away with the government? You must have imagined it. You must have made it up. Darling, you're always making things up. Mystery National Awakening. Ooh, exciting. That's fun. You can go to the front. And you have a strategic objective of the same place I'm trying to steal from Prussia, more generally. So I'm a negotiating partner in this peace plan. So what do we need to take from Prussia? We need to humiliate. We need to conquer Rhineland. We need to liberate Rhineland. And we need to conquer Oberschlesien. Oh, that's exciting. There's a lot I can do with a free Rhineland, by which I mean I can devour them. Let's get Switzerland decreased in autonomy. We'll reduce their subject payments. We're still improving relations. Their liberty desire is going down at a really nice rate. So that's pretty good. I'm definitely going to try and subjugate Rhineland when they're released, because that's going to be a huge coup if I can pull that off. Unavoidable injuries. With the government push for restricted child labor, adult men have been pressed to cover the gap they would leave behind. However, their bodies are too large and their fingers too wide for it, and industrial accidents have been increasing. Their screams filled the factory, their blood covered the machines as if they had a heart of their own. It's the 10th time in a week that a man has cuts his finger trying to operate some tiny machinery, previously manipulated only by the slender hands of a child. The protests have been rising. If not them, then it's us. Not sure I love some of this choice of phrasing, but it is the 19th century. No one should be doing this kind of work. Increase enactment time, reduce enactment chance. Or children aren't coming back, so they better get used to it. Increase enactment time, increase enactment chance. 5% of laborers and machinists become more radical in the state of Austria. I'm going to click that second one. Increase enactment success chance from a stall event without taking a setback is huge. And I'm going to milk it for all it's worth. Oh man, we are crushing over here. We're crushing the Russian. Oberschlesien is almost completely occupied. Hey, excellent. Alright, so there's my war goal. So, what does that get us? That gets us, we still need to liberate Rhineland, or make it to Brandenburg. And I think making it to Brandenburg is going to be the easiest way to make sure that this gets done. Now, where's my other army? They're over here. Days of Darkness. An eruption of unprecedented records has utterly destroyed the lives of many Dutch East Indies people in the state of West Java. The explosion of the Krakatoa could be heard from hundreds of miles away, and anything that had the ill fate of the surrounding islands was immediately devastated. And the day was made night. Those enormous waterfalls of fire cascading down the mountainside. A black cloud, gargantuan. All the birds have abandoned this field. Years from now I will sit by the fireplace and the light will disturb me no more. Which will help with all we have. Costs a little bit of cash, improves relations. That's the Krakatoa eruption. Both of these options are going to add that. Or, nature is a capricious creature, deteriorates relations. I'm just going to take the hit to relations. I don't want to pay them money. I'm setting up to do a lot of wars here. Wow, we are absolutely stomping Prussia. We are stomping them so good. It's comical is what it is. Absolutely comical. I need more fertilizer production is another thing I need. We're doing really good on explosives now, which is really nice. So, let's take a look at our fertilizer plants. Styria and Bayern. Looks like both of those are reasonably efficient. Let's go ahead and build 3 levels. And we have a new mandate available. So let's see. We're all maxed out on these. In order to get this one, we need to have 10 members. We currently have 6. Cohesion is okay. Tuscany has too low government cohesion. So, cohesion with our government, that is. So, Tuscany, my friends. You're working on church and state. I'm going to leave that be for now. How's the investment pool? The investment pool is moderately full. I do think I want to continue building. This might be a mistake, but I'm going to simply continue construction for the time being. Wow, we are absolutely bashing forward towards into Prussia. In fact, Prussia no longer has war support protection at all. Because we've got the capital. Yeah, I think they're totally Robert Borked on this, to be completely honest. Let's move one army over to the front that's in Holstein, just to make sure things don't go really bad there. And if things go really bad there, then we'll naval invade. Oh, you need more command capacity. They'll be there very shortly. Hopefully Holstein won't lose. Oh, Holstein is lost. Alright, so we need them to get... Alright, let's do a naval invasion. What? What happened? Oh, no, Holstein won. Well, that's very funny. Alright, so we'll get them back to this front, the main front with Prussia and Russia, and then we'll be good to go. We'll be so good to go. We'll be the best to go. Well, I'm feeling very confident. I learned I can take Prussia and Russia in a fight. Let's move this army to China, because there's steel railway cars. Because I need to get that war done, or my armies are going to be goofed. Because they're fully mobilized, and I don't necessarily want them to stay fully mobilized forever. I do the ability to go to steam trawlers. Let's go to steam trains and steel passenger carriages. Anti-French League has gone up. Ooh, and I can do industrial ports, which I'm definitely going to do. Now I need steamers, because I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. Alright, so, shipyards. Let's get the ones in Küstenland producing steamships. And that'll be just fine. Now we're really short on clippers, but I've got the ability to produce... The demand is going down, and the demand for steamers is going up, so we should be in a great spot. Prussia will be capitulating very shortly. And Russia, presumably not long after that, on account of, I don't think there's anything else they want. They have that anyone on our side wants. Getting those fertilizer plants built, and then the barracks are in progress. Got a lot more bureaucracy. Oh, this is exciting. Beautiful. So now, Prussia claims Rhineland. Prussia supporting separatism. A lot of bait success. So, Rhineland, my man. If I make you a protectorate, who will stop me? Only Sweden will try. Belgium will try. The Netherlands will try. Brunswick, Greece, Denmark, Hanover, Nassau. I'm doing it. Quickly, while they're all distracted. This is maybe crazy, but I've got to do it. I've got to get going fast. All Rhineland supporting separatism, don't care. What is going on over here? Oh, there's someone going for a... Oh, interesting. America's trying to get all of the Prussian-American company. Well, that's curious. Situation in China should be sorted out. So I think once again, I am moving an army over here kind of for nothing. Does America have a front established anywhere? No, doesn't seem like it. Alright. Well, let's set our strategic objective to Ingria, which is currently where Russia's capital is, and we're a little bit short on convoys, which is a bit of a shock. What do we have a shortage of? We have a shortage of munitions. Interesting. Oh, no. No, we don't. We just thought we did. What's going on with you, munitions plants? We got more munitions plants building. Alright, Belgium damaging relations. Wish you wouldn't, but them's the breaks. Alright, Belgium is in this war, which is fine. I still think I can take them. I am participating with Britain. I've just arrived as in the proper manner of a Leopold come lately, but I'm doing my best. Alright, and this army is on their way back to Austria. Force comparison here, still looking rock solid. Can I steal a little bit more? I can bring the Brits in, but I don't feel I need to. What if I add a war goal? Would it be absolutely absurd if I conquered the Rhineland state right out the gate? Yes. I think the answer to that question is yes. I can snag Belgian Gelra. That's an interesting option. That's not that much. Oh, but no. There are no Germans here. That's not territory that I will get good use out of. Unfortunately, Holstein does not appear to have war support protection, and Russia so far does. So I think America is probably not going to get what they want. But, you know, that's okay with me. I don't necessarily need a strong United States interposing itself in European policy, the European situation here. Smoke streams. Vivid red sunsets were reported for several months across the country. Fire engines were even called out in Austrian Schlesien to quench the apparent conflagration. Many artists and academics had expressed their interest in the phenomenon. So this is part of the Krakatoa eruption event chain. A blue and sometimes green moon, its inflammable luminescence igniting the night with unnatural intensity, while moonbeams shining through the clouds emerge purple and sometimes also blue, green, lavender suns, noctilescent clouds, a distasteful fascination. Only a painting could capture such beauty. 15% Arts Academy throughput, or academics must ensure that we're prepared for the next eruption. Volcanic eruptions will be less damaging in the future. That's very good. Württemberg gets extra university throughput. I'm going to go with the second one. I always like university throughput. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's an all-brainer, but it's a no-brainer. I'm an exile from Mecklenburg. Albrecht von Strauss. Alright. So that war finished out. Now United States is the war leader. That's okay. Alright, so we get going on in here. We are winning on offense. Our other army is just in a really, really bad way because they've decided to go over land through enemy territory back home to... they decided to march all the way from Russia. Oh my goodness, what on earth? No, GK North needs more leadership. Do I have a revolutionary movement? That was the revolutionary movement button, though. Audio sting, though. Curious. Papal states improving relations. Well, that's good. And we are continuing to push forward into Russia. I'm not necessarily upset that we are doing this. We are causing a lot of devastation, but, you know, the Russians, it seems like, are going to be our enemies going forward, so I don't necessarily have a problem with this. How are we doing in Rhineland? We're doing well. We're advancing. We got 50% occupation of the state of Rhineland. And is the state of Rhineland their capital? Negative. The capital is Nordrhein, North Rhineland, which makes perfect sense. This army is still really, really low in organization. I'm just going to give them a bit to sort themselves out before I send them off to the Rhineland front. I decided not to take anything from Belgium. I think that's still the right call. I'm going to pause government construction for the moment. That's going to save me a little bit of cash, and we'll drain the investment pool to service that to service our construction needs, and that'll be just fine. We are actually getting close to Ingria, which means America might get their Alaska. Bureaucratic imbroglio. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of restricted child labor have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a near halt. The fully developed bureaucratic apparatus compares with other organizations exactly as does the machine with the non-mechanical modes of production. That is to say, the teeth of its individual gears meet in accord, or its gears will gnash and churn until it eventually breaks. Damn this labyrinthine legal system, increase enactment time, reduce enactment success chance, or cut through at least some of the red tape, reduce bureaucracy, increase enactment time, bureaucrats become more radical in the capital. I'm going to do the second one. I'm doing just fine on bureaucracy for now, and the extra education is still good for me. Alright, we're close to holding... we're developing occupation really, really fast now. This army is still pretty low in organization, so we're going to leave them where they are for the moment. European Security Army is still doing rock solid. And we are continuing to push forward in Prussia. Now, what's going on in the Netherlands? Where are you fighting? Hey, there's pharmaceuticals. Wonderful. You're fighting the UK. You're fighting for the UK? No, you're fighting the UK on behalf of Ashanti. Alright. Enjoy that, Netherlands. You can do it. I believe in you. Alright, and that... Right, and now the front is only in Belgium. So that's fine. They're losing war support really fast, so this war is actually going to sort itself out super duper quick. And they're actually already willing to accept a protectorate, so let's get a protectorate. Rhineland, you old so-and-so. Let's have better relations. I don't need to be improving relations with Switzerland at this time. I need to be improving relations with Rhineland. Now, how is their liberty desire? The Rhenish. Oh no, it's North German. They're North German. Yeah. Okay. So their liberty desire is going up a little bit, mostly because of bad relations, because I conquered them and all that. But that's going to change pretty soon. I'm improving relations now. My infamy is also going to go down in about a year and a half or so. Prestige and army power projection ratios are good, and they're pretty dependent on us economically. So I'm feeling pretty good about it overall. The one thing I need to not do is create problems for myself by annexing Switzerland. But I do wish to annex Switzerland, so I'm probably going to do that. Rest to Ascent. Wonderful. And then this army is almost finished with its organization, so we're going to put them on the front. And they're just gonna march all the way to Ingria, and that will be just fine. Krakatoa should be finishing out soon. And that'll be fine. Got another 2 years and 2 months to finish restricted child labor, but I'm almost all the way there. North Livonia front. Excuse me, what front is this? There's a separate front over there. That's quite curious. Let's get an army onto it, and we'll see what comes of that, basically. I'm so delighted. Alright, so next on the agenda, I believe I've got their Swiss liberty desire isn't low enough that I can just blunder forward with annexing them quite yet. I also think we might have a truce. Yes, we have a truce for another 3 years, which is fine. So what I need to do with that, I think if I can get them below 10, they have a super duper high chance of accepting annexation. And that'll be really good for me overall. So, in order to make that happen, I need to build up governance capacity. There's central banking, that's wonderful. Language in the classroom. Czech students sometimes use their native language in Austrian schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of Austria. You noticed it too, right? He gets angry when anyone talks in class, but he always gets angrier when we're talking. Maybe he thinks we're talking about him. I think he just doesn't like being reminded that we know something he doesn't. Schools should teach them to speak the proper language. 10% of Czech pops in Austria become more radical. Austria gets extra assimilation, but increased radicalism from discrimination, basically. Or their language is part of their heritage. Reduce radicalism from discrimination, reduce assimilation. I'm going to pick the second one. I'm not pursuing an assimilationist policy. So, I believe Tuscany is dragging down our... yes. Go to oligarchy, please. They're dragging down our... the word I was looking for is power block cohesion, which I need to be going up. We're getting a little bit low from power block members with lowest relations with Rhineland, but that'll change pretty soon. So this is very good. If I can get Rhineland annexed, that'll also be very important. Burning ashes. Due to the drop of temperature caused by the volcanic eruption, all the crops of Rhineland have been destroyed in the subsequent disease outbreak, and other farmers have come begging for help. No food at home, sir. Not a single root to be saved. Children ask questions, sir. The sky is always dark, always red. They're hungry and afraid, my lord, and so am I. We can send them some food. Our states with farms or plantations will experience major crop failures. The crop failure will also affect the rest of the world. Government expenses, 20k per week for 5 years. Rhineland gets reduced agricultural throughput, or there's nothing we can do. Our states with farms and plantations will experience crippling crop failures, rather than just major crop failures. And then 10% reduced throughput. I'm gonna send the cash. I can afford it. I've got the money. I say as I go increasingly deeply into debt. Let's go ahead and snag a little bit more taxation capacity here. And then we're a little bit short in Baden, so we'll build up taxation capacity there as well. And then Austria, we're doing just fine. Automate failed, minus 10%. Well, I wish that hadn't happened. Let's throw these at the top of the queue. And again, these are... That is the end of the war. Cash flow is pretty bad. Actually, it's not so bad. We're building up government capacity. We are costing ourselves a pile of cash. We are paying a huge amount in interest. I'm going to finish out these government admins. And then we'll see. We'll see how things look. And once again with Switzerland, I can't annex them, right, because we got a truce. And that truce lasts for another 3 years. So, for now, we simply work on Rhineland. They're getting support and independence. Alright, I don't love that. They're getting support and independence from the United States. Alright, that's unfortunate, but we are improving relations with them. That is going to eliminate that poor relations line item, which is going to be very good for us. And then, once... Our infamy is going to take another year to get down. How dependent are they on us economically? Not that much. But that is something I can change. Let's go ahead and build a bunch of logging camps. And what we'll do is we'll throw all these at the top of the queue. Alright, so Egypt. Liberate Cyprus if we back them in diplomatically. No, thank you. I don't have the money for a war right now, Egypt. I've already fought too many wars. I'm currently supporting Rhineland by building in them. Definitely because it's the right thing to do, and not due to some kind of ulterior motive or some other such situation. Western aristocracy are pretty happy again. Come on, restricted child labor. A lot of it success. It gets up to 28%. That's not bad. Well, I sure wish they weren't getting a bunch of support and dependence from the frickin' United States. That's okay. We'll increase their economic dependence on us, and then that'll get us moving in the right direction. Of course, we'll be moving in the wrong direction once we annex Switzerland, but that's not going to be for another few years. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. How are we doing for coal? Oh, we actually need more porcelain. Well, it just so happens that my glassworks can produce more porcelain. Way more. Shabamza. Now glass is expensive. Perfect. I nailed it. I'm so good at economy. And porcelain is one of the cheapest things. We're exporting half of our output. Maybe I'll split them up. Maybe I'll do partial. No, they're doing well. I need to do that thing you do, where you make the places use the same production methods. That's good. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's live. We're doing it live. And so as we build these logging camps in Rhineland, surely that will have a positive effect on their economic dependence on us, and that will in turn make them more willing to be not free. The opposite of free. Alright. So, medium-term agenda. I've, of course, fought a war in Prussia. I need to dial it back a little bit in terms of my going into wars. Saxe-Meiningen. You are having a revolt. Where are you geographically? You're right here. They don't want to become a subject. Sad. If only I could get more subjects over here. That would make me very pleased. We're already starting to encroach on Prussian territory, which is very good. I definitely desire that as a long-term goal. A lot of its success, wonderful. Still bashing away at this. I think the Kleinbürger are going to be only modestly unhappy at this point. So one of the things about petitions is they, the further you get towards enacting it, the less unhappy they are, because the more of an indication that is that, like, you did your best. That these things take time and you're doing what you can. So my hope is that as we progress forward towards restricting child labor, well, again, I'm hoping to pass it because I've got enough bureaucracy. Oh, I actually don't have enough bureaucracy to go for another level of education. Well, that's sad. Truly sad. Let's build up a little bit more. Schwarzburg. Where are you? Augsburg. So that's Saxon. No, that is you. Okay, you're asking for a power block embassy in exchange for transit rights. I accept. I would be delighted to allow you to trade through Austria. The gamble. Christian von Wachter, leader of the Catholic Church, has been openly preaching about the benefits that a mysterious and secret political gamble can bring to our government. When asked for details, he smiles coyly, refusing to elaborate. Christian von Wachter has always had a taste for adventure and suspiciously tall hats. His closest friends don't seem to pay attention to these dangerous qualities, but the most respectable gentlemen have voiced their concerns in a mildly passive-aggressive manner. Nobody would ever doubt a sterling citizen like myself, don't you think? How bad could it be? 50% chance of success or failure in 10 days? Or what an utterly ludicrous idea. He loses some popularity. I'm going to say how bad can it be? I almost always go with the gamble. I almost always lose. Them's the breaks. Let's see what happens. Papal States wants trade privileges in exchange for trade privileges. They want to give me investment rights, they want trade privileges, and they want to give me cash. No. Yes. They want to give me cash. Curious. That's going to cost me influence, though, which is an interesting question. I think I actually need... Oh, cripes. I don't... What... See, this sucks, because I actually want to do this. Alright, what if it's just investment rights for trade privileges? Well, I want trade privileges too. Gosh dang it. Let me figure out how to make that happen. Hold on. Serbia, I'm sorry. I do want to stop deteriorating relations, but not that much. Alright. Trudy, you want trade privileges. I want investment rights and trade privileges. And I don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend influence on money. A gamble, failure, as always. A dramatic scheme by the Catholic Church in our capital has just come to a disastrous end. The risks were high from the beginning, but Christian von Wachter decided it was worth pursuing nonetheless. The results have, of course, been calamitous for everyone involved. A judiciary struck his gavel 3 times. The courtroom stifled their cries of outrage, if only for a moment. No ally of Christian von Wachter was coming for a daring rescue. Then in the silence before the judge spoke, it all became clear to the defendant. This venture was doomed from the start. The Catholic Church cannot be trusted from power. They become much weaker. Interesting. Make Christian von Wachter take the blame. He's a traditionalist. He'll step down. Or steady on, leave the Catholic Church in charge. Minus 15% authority. Interesting. Let's make von Wachter take the blame. Now we have a royalist in charge, and we're even less legitimate. That's a tragedy, but I can get a little bit more legitimacy by shuffling up the government and putting the intelligentsia, the industrialists, and the Kleinberger together. I'm going to hold off on that because I'm still working on restricting child labor. But once that happens, I can really clean up. So, still building up these coal mines. Technical talents. Inspired by the prowess of British engineers and academics, the technically inclined industrialists have begun to align themselves with the Austrian-British Fellowship. How happy are they? They're pretty happy. By our standards, with the methods they employ in their manufactories, they often find themselves saving half a manpower per worker to produce the same output we do. The building I toured had quite an innovative lighting system as well. Imagine, if you will, shifts being able to extend up to an hour more per day. His mustachioed compatriot was already pulling out a paper, drawing a line between disparate sets of calculations. When 2 sums were placed next to each other, he let out a low whistle. We will make great strides together, the industrialists join the Austrian-British Fellowship, or our creations far outstrip those cheap British toys. they get weaker instead. I'm going to say I'm going to move them together. That's going to make them happier. And that's going to make this child labor situation a lot easier to deal with. Von Wachter has died. He's dead to me, is what's happened. Ottoman Empire actually only has one more year to really win this. Oh, it's when I go here, I'm seeing their revolutionary movement. That's why that's kicking off. Interesting. So they're technically a minor, but they're not a regional. They're not an unrecognized power yet. They haven't lost their recognition. So, with us having built a bunch of mines, their economic dependence on us has only gone up by a little bit. There is restricted child labor. I can't increase the institution yet because I haven't got the bureaucratic capacity. I am going to increase it. What is my... We're doing public schools. Alright, beautiful. That's good. That's really, really good. So, a couple more weeks on this, and then, once those government buildings have hired, we'll just go ahead and get our education institution increasing once again. There's a little bit of extra prestige from organized sports. That's fun. So this is going to give us really rock-solid literacy, and that's going to hopefully be good for the country overall. We're also almost low in infamy. And that is going to get rid of that infamy line item, which is going to get us doing really, really well. They're a little bit more economically entangled now that those buildings are running. So, where can we increase their economic entanglement further? I suppose I could build a few levels of textile mills that we own. Perhaps some fertilizer plants, some explosives factories. Just generally build up their economy some. Maybe one tooling workshop, one steel mill. And that'll be fine. That's a perfectly sufficient construction plan. And after that, I'll really need to stop building stuff because I've gone so buck wild with construction that I'm just completely overboard with that. How is incorporation looking in some of these other areas? Okay, we're making solid progress. So this is going to improve my finances by a ton to get these areas better incorporated. And we are currently in the 25 infamy block for our infamy. Once we get below 25, we'll be in a really rock-solid state. GP is increasing significantly. Feeling pretty good about that. And once again, just to look at this and make sure, Prestige is doing just fine. So I don't need to worry about increasing the size of their economy. Is the end result of that question. Now, what's really going to make this difficult is, with America still supporting them, if their liberty desire starts going down, then I think America might stop supporting their liberty. And if they do that, then that'll be chill. Let's rework the government. And now, I should be able to separate church and state. The Rhineland will be very unhappy. The Catholic Church will be very unhappy. But the Hungarians will be very happy. And that's what I want. So separating church and state will give me a baseline of 15 acceptance for all religions. And that should... I might be making a mistake here. But I think that's going to get us more of our way here. It's also going to cost us some authority, but I feel like I can tolerate a reduction in my authority, a moderate reduction in authority, without having too many problems. So we're going to take a run at that. Well,
I might be making a mistake. I know I said I was going to be reactionary, but I want to sort out my matter of Hungary. I want Hungary to be pleased. So let's just review. Society, Hungarians have 60 acceptance. Yeah. And then there'll be a flat 15. So I don't know why this isn't ticking up yet. But they'll definitely, once I've separated church and state, they'll definitely have over 70 average acceptance. Interesting. So they're all in... So they're at acceptance 60. This is going up. So maybe this is actually just... Like, this will sort itself out over time. We'll see. Opposition members put forth demands. More pragmatically inclined members of the Catholic Church, currently opposed to the passing of total separation, have offered to change their stance were they to be offered certain political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the intelligentsia, however. Compromise makes a good umbrella but a poor roof. It is a temporary expedient, often wise in party politics, almost sure to be unwise in statesmanship. Acquiesce to their demands, the bill must pass. Intelligentsia unhappy, but increased enactment success chance. Compromise is a tool of the weak. Reduced enactment success chance, reduced enactment time. Intelligentsia happy, or a prime opportunity to break the bill from deadlock. One entire phase. Increased enactment time. Intelligentsia furious. I'm gonna go with the first one. I'm gonna lose their... Oh, I'm not gonna lose their bonus. Alright, wonderful. That's very good. Spanish and the British are shooting at each other. And Rhineland is still going up, interestingly. Their economy is not as entangled with us. Really? Alright, time for more aggressive actions. We'll give them knowledge share. And I can afford to support their regime, so we'll support their regime. It's going to cost me legitimacy, and I despise losing legitimacy. Despise it. Like the Dickens. But that's going to get their liberty desire going down at a really healthy clip. Hopefully. Wow, it really isn't that much. My army power projection is rock solid compared to theirs. What else are they... Maybe I need to... I'm continuing to improve relations. That's going to help. Maybe I need to fund lobbies? I think I gotta fund lobbies. That's going to cost me money, which I don't love, but them's the breaks. Inefficient agriculture. The industrialists have started complaining about the wasteful inefficiency of subsistence farms in Böhmen, Bohemia. The fertile soil of our people suffers, relegated to tired and callous hands, too exhausted from manual labor to perform at a decent level, too poor to be able to use more advanced tools that would make them more profitable. This industry is just a useful investment. It won't matter if everyone comes to the city. Extra state construction efficiency, manufacturing industries throughput, and capitalist investment pool contribution efficiency, and the industrialists become happier. Then we should modernize the farms. Same construction efficiency bonus, but agriculture throughput bonus instead of manufacturing, 15%. And then 25% aristocrats investment pool contribution efficiency, which is good. Or, looks like the perfect ground for an army base. Increased conscription and training rates. Same state construction efficiency increase. Armed forces happy, industrialists mad. I'm going to go with the first one, which is very good. I'll make the industrialists. Engines of progress. Which gives us extra production research speed, which is nice. So, we're still building out these factories. That's going to hopefully make them a little bit more economically entangled with us. Again, I think if their liberty desire starts to actually go down, the United States will stop supporting them. We're getting minus 15 in liberty, desire, progress total from my knowledge sharing and my support of their regime. And hopefully, relations going up will make a meaningful impact to that. And hopefully building all this stuff over there will make them more economically dependent on me, which will also be nice. Let me see, what's their current economic dependence? 2.7. Alright, so it's going up, and hopefully it'll continue to be going up. Alright. Alright, what's going on with you? Oh, this is Tuscany. They're fighting a war for me. They're calling us in as their ally. I must accept. Let's go ahead and mobilize General Command North. We'll send them. That's obviously going to wipe out my positive balance, but hopefully that won't be for too long. I probably should have mobilized these guys. Probably should have waited to mobilize these units, but that's okay. Alright. Austrian-Tuscan Treaty of Commerce and Transit dissolved. Tuscany left the Metternich system. What? About to be in a civil war? No, we're not. That's someone else's civil war. A war goal against Tuscany? What is happening? What? What is happening over here? Piedmontian Tuscany was annexed. Tuscany was annexed by Sardinia Piedmont as a result of having a... That's extremely silly. Alright, so... I don't really desire a protectorate. Can I regime change them? What is going on here? Okay, yeah, so this is the part of the Risorgimento event chain, is how this happened. Yeah, there's since the suffrage monarchy. That's so curious. Here's what we're gonna do. Street Piedmont, are you my friends? No, you're not. The opposite of that. Ugh. Here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, Conquer is far too expensive. I think I'm just gonna try to humiliate them, I guess. Oh, I don't have any way to get there now. Well, this sucks. Alright, we're going to mobilize this army. This is very strange. I don't care for this war at all. This war is a non-factor in my politics. How strange. Crooked connections. Frustrated with the lengthy legal process surrounding total separation of church and state, Hugo von Taufenbach of the Intelligentsia has approached us with an offer to expedite the process, utilizing his personal connections within the state apparatus. A few words in the right ear is all I'm asking for, everything within the bounds of the law, of course, although I cannot guarantee our opponents in this matter will view such actions with much glee. Granting permission, time is the essence, reduce enactment time, Catholic Church, even angrier. Or no, we do this by the book or not at all. Increase enactment time. I feel like I can afford to piss off the Catholic Church a little because I've got a lot of enactment chance here. So, well, that's 5 years. No, we do this by the book. I almost always pick we do this by the book or not at all, and I'm going to pick that same thing as something that I always do. Alright, so, what else can we get up to? I am probably... I don't know. I feel like... Well, this is a weird forever war. Let's move our armies. You go in South Germany. North, you're gonna go there. Army group south, you're going to go here. Alright. So, we are a little short on influence now. I'm going to halt improving relations with... No, that's not smart. What I need is a new rival. I didn't have Prussia rivaled. Absurd. Or the Ottoman. Let's rival them. There we go. Now I have all the influence I could ever want. Yeah, and I'm just going to ignore this, I think. I think, truthfully, this is not a war that I need to care about. Again, this is basically down to the Risorgimento event chain being kind of busted. I know it's not supposed to go exactly this way, but I'm not sure this is how it went, because I don't have any ability to get there. This should have put Sardinia Piedmont on the other side of this war, but I was already in it, so them's the breaks. Hey, a lot of progress to ascent. Wonderful. So yeah, so now now the war is simply going to tick down. Still going up. They're getting another support independence? Gosh dang it. Damnable Ottoman Empire. I might need to diplomatically decrease their autonomy, because this is silly. Still got a truce for 24 months. I can definitely... Ooh, this is gonna be really interesting, because I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I couldn't simply get a country where I couldn't simply get them, you know, get them incorporated peacefully. There's rubber mastication, that's good. Now Switzerland is currently below 10 liberty desires. So we can't annex them yet because we still have a truce for another 5 months. Okay, early on in 62 is when I should be able to do that. Harvest condition, no end in sight to the moderate rainfall. That's good. Moderate rainfall is good for the country. We have a huge debt, just enormous. I'm subsidizing a lot of things right now. But it's really the subventions that I'm feeding small arms. Let's take a quick look at that. Oh, right. I'm submitting small arms because I've got Combined Arms Syndicate and they're producing high-powered small arms. And this is giving me extra army offense and defense. So this is really a military cost, is the small arms subvention. Steel subvention, I feel... I can definitely lose the steel subvention without causing myself any problems. Where's steel? Where's steel? Where's steel? Here it is. That's a relief. And this is going to be, yeah. We're not going to need that steel subvention for long, because we're going to go to steel frame buildings, and that's going to be huge. So once that's done, I think We go to vacuum canning. I would love to do... Actually, I would love to do aniline. And then I think it's back around to military. I've got to get myself hand-crank machine gun at the very least. I've already got the ironclad. We'll go for military statistics, and then we'll just knock out the whole rest of Tier 3 in military. Floating harbor I should get through spread. And then we'll snag trench works, and that should put us in really good stead for the upcoming years. Grassroots support for law. The political wills and desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for total separation spread like wildfire across Austria, spurred on by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. They're backing what now? Well, who are we to complain? While their support was never a prerequisite for success, it sure doesn't hurt to have it either. Public enthusiasm expedites reform. Protestant rights movement gets stronger indefinitely and the intelligentsia becomes stronger. Or use this common ground to calm the masses. 20% of lower stern pops in Rhineland become more loyalist. I think I want to do the first one. Well, having the stronger movement doesn't really help, so I'm going to use this common ground to calm the masses. At least give me some loyalists and that'll be fine. If I can continue to not do anything in this war, I can achieve full, a full white peace after a long time. A really, really comically long time. They have deaths from this war, which is a little shocking, but them's the breaks. So right now I'm primarily just kind of chipping away at my national debt. My additional expenses have gone down a little bit. What am I currently paying for it? It's the volcanic winter relief cost. Alright, that's fine. That's something I needed to do. But hopefully things will be going a little bit better. I could reduce government wages or something like that, but ultimately that doesn't help me that much. I really don't wish to increase taxation. Prussia's rivaling us back now. That's not shocking. Rhineland, okay. So they've no longer gotten... Yes, okay. So now their liberty desire started going down, which means they no longer have... And that means that all the countries that were like, we're supporting your independence, they're not doing it anymore, which is beautiful. So, we're going to need to get this number much lower over time. And there's a new mandate available, but unfortunately, I don't think I have the ability to enable any additional mandates because I don't have enough members. We're very high in cohesion now, so I'm feeling pretty good about that overall. We're in a revolution, but I don't care. The Ottomans are shooting at the Greeks. Let me see if I can get a Greek subject. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but we'll see. Liberate Albania. That's not what I desired. It's only -5. I want it so bad. How much would it cost me to seize Bosnia? $11.2. That would get me up in infamy, but only for a little while. Temptation's high. I think Bosnia has tobacco plantations that'd be good for me overall. No, I don't actually wish to do that. And the reason is because, okay, so they lost all their, they lost their recognition. Alright, we kind of knew that was going to happen, but, you know, it's not that I don't want to take shots at the Ottoman. I do. But I could probably win a war against them pretty handily. So you know what? Let's do it. Let me steal Bosnia. Actually, let me mobilize both of these armies. Ofa. And we'll put this one on the Greek front. And we'll just set their strategic objective to Eastern Thrace. And theirs to Bosnia. And then we'll just get ourselves a little bit of territory. So, cash flow is still positive. Alright, we're still doing well cash flow wise. If we pass total separation, that's going to get worse because we're going to lose some authority. But I'm hoping that doesn't go too bad. Saxon-Meiningen backs down against the Saxon nationalist revolt. Seems reasonable. The Ottoman is worried. They're going to steal... The Greeks are going to steal a bunch of territory. So this is one of the curious things about this portion of the game, is that, like, the Ottoman Great Eastern Crisis, like, mostly doesn't really actually fire that much because they often just lose all this territory. And I think we're in a really good spot to simply allow Greece to just seize all of this, which is fine. And I would love to have them as a protectorate, which, you know, we'll see. We'll see how things go. We've got a lot of radicals. I seem to have a hard time increasing standard of living, but them's the Greeks. The art of doing nothing. Though previously opposing the total separation laws, Joseph Mergenthaler has considered the intelligentsia's political position and instead offers support. While speaking with constituents on matters of law, one must first master the art of appearing to do nothing. While you do everything behind whispers and masked men, indubitably. Welcome their support. Stronger intelligentsia, stronger landfolk, 10% increase in active success chance. Or keep a sharp eye, they're up to something. Mergenthaler gets reduced popularity. He's a Luddite associated with the landfolk, but less enactment chance. Actually going to go with the second one. I don't desire this Luddite bandit to be a stronger force in our politics, and I think anyone who can see what's going on can understand why. My finances are doing a ton better. There's the war with the Ottoman Empire breaking out. My finances are doing a ton better as as things go here. We're making a lot more cash, and that's from increasing, largely from increasing incorporation in these areas. Over here in the east. These are the crownland areas that we annexed earlier. So, once we get below 25 infamy, we'll see that line item go away again, and then Rhineland's Liberty Desire will be going down really, really fast. I think I want to get them down to puppet, and then I'll let Switzerland tick further down back below 10, and then I'll annex Switzerland. Because here's the thing. Once I've got Rhineland down to puppet, and once I've got relations up, their ticking Liberty Desire is going to be even faster because I can reduce subject payments. And reducing subject payments is just, like, it costs me so little to get that Liberty Desire ticking down that I basically always do it. It's basically never the wrong call. And then I'll be feeling really, really good with my overall imperial structure. And we are actually heading straight towards their capital, and I'm feeling really rock solid about that. These fronts have not been split because of the new update, which I'm very, very happy with. I'm actually really liking the way fronts operate now. It looks like the Egyptians are also winning their war against the Ottoman, who has moved up to being an unrecognized major, probably due to armies being mobilized. I don't know that I necessarily would agree that they're making the right call by focusing on Egypt here, because they're going to lose a lot of territory in the west, and I think they're going to lose their ability to keep control over their territory over here. But I have played a lot as the Ottomans. I am pretty familiar with them overall. But I think they're going to get absolutely stomped in this war, and I think they're going to lose a bunch of territory they would prefer to keep. But it will end the so-called Great Eastern Crisis before it really materializes, because they're just going to simply lose all of their territory in the West. And that would be very funny. I would be very, very amused. Wow. Did I lose some infamy somewhere, or was that just time and my high influence doing its work? All right. So they are now cordial. Their liberty desire is going down. Okay, so their liberty desire now is going down by 22, 0.22, which means if I can't diplomatic demand, why can't I diplomatic demand a subject? Because we're committed on the same side of diplomatic play. Alright, so this thing, well, we'll see. Devout scandal. It has been revealed that Wakla Waisaki of the Catholic Church, thank you to Dropout for telling me how to pronounce this last name, has been having a secret affair with a member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. The very fact that this sneaky bastard thought he could get away with such a gross misuse of his power shows everything wrong with the leadership of the Catholic Church. He is a royalist. I could force him to step down. He resigns in shame. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. He'll lose popularity. I'm actually going to do the second one. That's going to make the Catholic Church weaker. Dissenters break ranks. To outside observers, the intelligentsia may appear firmly committed to the idea of total separation of church and state. But behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now a clique of dissenters have finally had enough and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of the reform. For how long have we stood together? How many times have we lent a willing hand your way? Yet our own concerns are left unanswered, and our own desires left unmet. If we shall not be heard here, we shall be so elsewhere. Splitters, may the devil take them. Reduce enactment success chance, weaker intelligentsia. Loosen our purse strings, perhaps we can lure some of them back. Smaller reduction to enactment success chance, cost the government money. Much smaller reduction to the strength of the intelligentsia. Or offer them custodianship over a new draft. Increase enactment success chance. Increased enactment time, slightly reduced, slightly weaker intelligentsia, 1 setback. I got 4 setback slots because I am in a fully developed ideological union. So I can afford a setback. I'm going to do that last one. I don't want to spend the money. That's the bottom of it. Alright, Tuscany, this is silly. I don't care. Alright, so now we're just in our war against the Ottoman, and that should be finished soon. A famous cafe. After a chance meeting in a cafe and a thoughtful conversation, Michael Lemko has recommended that Joachim Birnbaum, currently residing in Austria, be granted permanent residency. If you're in need of a place to stay, I could hardly neglect to offer you an invitation. It would be shameful for me to, following such a magnificent correspondence, to fail to pursue your talents further. You could hardly ask for a more esteemed endorsement, stronger industrialists. Joachim Birnbaum becomes employed by Austria, or Lemko's decision-making is clearly questionable, salty industrialists, and he loses, and the leader of the industrialists loses some popularity. So, what is Birnbaum about? He's a protectionist. I would be delighted. I could hardly ask for a more esteemed endorsement. That's actually really, really good. Run things, please. This is very good. Capital interests. The interests of the Kleinberger in the lucrative trade with the French Republic has led them to align themselves to the Austrian-French Fellowship. Does the increased volume not permit for more risk? Quite the opposite. When a deluge of money enters one's pockets, one becomes predisposed to mania. An extra coin to the waiter, a formerly shocking fee paid off with a smile. If one is not careful, one ceases to look at their ledgers entirely. They pay more than they ever did, and this is the road to ruination. An excellent point. Will it justify the deployment of warships? It had better. If not, if it does not, perhaps a donation will. A toast to our prosperity, they join the Austrian-French Fellowship. Or our relationship should remain strictly transactional, they become weaker. A toast to our prosperity. That's fine. An Austrian-French fellowship is exactly the sort of thing I want. So here's what I'm thinking. I need to... Pretty good on institutions. I need to get... They've started to embargo us, those bastards. I think... Once their liberty desire is getting low... So, when I annex Switzerland, the liberty desire is not going to be going down so fast. But if I can do it carefully, I can get them... I can keep them going down. That having been said... Oh, I'm not knowledge sharing them anymore because I don't have any text they don't have. That's fascinating. Well, I'm going to have steel frame buildings in a minute, so that's going to really help. How's the investment pool? The investment pool is doing well. Oh, my goodness. One of my armies is just standing about doing nothing. So there's steel frame buildings. I got a bunch of text still in the queue. Now, if I go just crazy... Let's not go crazy. Let's put 10 levels over to steel frame. And see what that does to the price of steel. It's fine, but the price of glass is high. That's curious. Right. No, that does always happen. Okay, so steel industry is doing well. Porcelain is actually... That's interesting. Alright, let's move a couple more over to steel frame. Law debate success, once again. I'm continuing to increase the price of glass, so I'm going to need more glassworks. And that's just fine. I'm not going to build them myself, obviously. The Ottoman Empire is taking their sweet time losing this war, but we're continuing to push forward. I guess I shouldn't be complaining. I'm doing really well. I'm gaining cash flow during a war, which is pretty rare. Of course, I'm not building anything, and I need to be building glassworks. Okay, private sector is building glassworks now. Let's actually build my own. I'm gonna build my own glassworks. Let's build 4 levels in Bohemia, and 4 levels in 2 levels in Württemberg, 2 levels in Bayern, 2 levels in Slovakia. So now I'm losing money, but it's worth it. I won't be losing money once this war is over. See, this is the joys of well, no, I'll still be losing money, but not that much. Let's go over to the government construction queue. So yeah, so this isn't going to take too long. Beautiful. And now, we'll start getting Bosnia incorporated. And we'll reset production methods over there. That's going to take a long time to get them incorporated, but that's okay. Wow, turmoil is unbelievable here. Wow. Oh, boy. Oh, the situation... Oh, they're really down bad here. It's awful. Alright. Infrastructure situation is pretty pathetic. And there's total separation, finally. Alright, so... I actually need railways. Oh, that hurts. I need to cut some consumption taxes. Because I need a decree. I need a decree, and I need it bad. Alright. 81 weeks to build railroads. It simply is what it is. I've got to do it.
Let's continue to convert construction sectors over to steel frame. It's going to give me a little bit more construction capacity. It's going to cost me more money, but that's okay. Glass industry is still really rough, but again, hopefully we're dealing with that problem through the power of construction. Not the ideal time to annex Austria, Bosnia, but them's the breaks. They're experiencing big devastation as well. I need to build some trade centers, actually. Please don't tell me these are going to take a long time. Okay, those are only going to take 10 weeks. Whew! Once you get trade centers running in... Interesting. Once you get trade centers running, that improves the standard of living in the area a lot because people can just get their needs fulfilled from other areas. Alright, so... Liberty Desire is... So our infamy is getting lower. It's also good. Can I give them knowledge sharing? I cannot. So now here's what we're going to do. Once we get below 14, which will keep us below 25, then we'll annex Switzerland. And because Swiss Liberty Desire is really low, we shouldn't be able to do... We should have... Because this is 11.1 infamy. 21% chance they say yes. If the Prussians decide to fight, we'll just steal a chunk of Prussia, and that'll be just fine. I'll be very pleased with that outcome overall. Slovakia's got a little bit of a construction efficiency issue. Well, hopefully that won't be too big of a deal. Again, I really want to get the Swiss annexed because I really want to get... This is really, really potentially core territory for me. The Alemannic people are Germanic in many ways. And they'll be really well accepted under my current government. A scandal in Austria. Police have shut down a notorious male brothel. The arrested proprietor has revealed that Joachim Birnbaum is part of his clientele, and this information is leaking to the press. An indescribably loathsome scandal has struck Austria. The captured boys were made to confess, and the bulletin reports that another sensation about this affair will soon burst. 22 men implicated, blue bloods and others, have fled from Austria. He must resign immediately or try to cover up the story. I'm going to try to cover it up. Let's see if I succeeded. He's still loved. Alright, so now... Ooh, I have an unacceptable government. I can swap the intelligentsia for the armed forces. Which isn't bad at all. It'll have to do. Now I can go for protectionism, which will be nice. The Austrian aristocracy will be against it, but the industrialists will be for it. That's good. Oh, von Taufenbach has retired, so the intelligentsia are now led by a radical. Interesting. And of course they're huge mad. We've now fallen almost below the French Republic in prestige, but that's okay. French Republic is got a large army. Lighthouse of Progress. Looking to the British system of wealth voting with a great sense of admiration, members of the trade unions have been flocking to pro-British societies as of late. When I speak of Great Britain, alas, the first matters that spring to the minds of many of our dear countrymen will be those pertaining to foreign politics and not domestic. However, it is the former, not the latter, that we must look for the foundations of a true and strong bond between our nations. There is some merit to the British system. They join the fellowship, or mob rule has no place in Austria. 2% of trade unions member pops become more radical. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't want the trade unions influencing politics. I don't think much has come of that, or will come of that. Yeah, very little. It's like 30,000 or something. It's not a significant number. Japan has formed the Supreme Alliance. Fascinating. 17. not loving that they're... Well, no, this is just change rate scaling. Alright, so now... let's annex Switzerland. 21% chance they say yes. Again, I'm not at all afraid to fight the Prussians. Alright. They've said no, and that's okay with me. I'm still 24 infamy. Now, once I am... once I actually finish the annexation, Rhineland will have a plus 20 buff to Liberty Desire, and that'll be happening because I annex a subject. But hopefully that won't be too much of a problem. No one seems interested in assisting them at the moment, which I'm pretty pleased about. We'll see how things go. Again, if the Prussians try to make a problem for me, I'll probably seize some territory from them. Artistic expressions. A popular South German newsletter has released a statement by Heinrich Ehrmacht endorsing several poets known for their sympathies to the intelligentsia's interests. Interesting. The ideals of love and comradeship are present therein, but when one looks beyond the surface, one is faced with the precise conditions for such a thing. Those things which foster the highest ideals and can be made manifest in one's daily life. The ideals of South German culture stand behind our reforms, extra enactment success chance, or the loyal support of the intelligentsia should be rewarded. They become happier but also stronger. Increased enactment success chance. They're currently radical. I don't much care for that. I'm going to pick enactment success chance. Full enactment success chance. Do I have a radical movement? I don't believe I do. Good. So we're doing just fine here. Cash flow is doing okay. It's going to be doing a lot better once these glassworks are okay. Bosnia is doing alright. Hopefully, again, we'll get turmoil going down. Standard of living is absolutely brutal here. No unemployment, though, which isn't so bad. Again, hopefully once we've got the infrastructure running, what we'll do is we'll get some tobacco plants building, and that will allow us to have our own source of tobacco, which I believe we're currently importing all of our tobacco. And I don't wish to be importing a ton of tobacco. Cash flow is doing much better, in fact. I still need to finish these railways, but we're not building anything else. We're slowly chipping away at this interest. Again, we're at this national debt. Again, we're paying 30k in interest per week, so we're still pretty unstable from an interest perspective. But I'm feeling pretty rock solid. Dutch East Indies are on my side over here, which is interesting. I think I just unlocked the attack. Alright, 2 hours. Vacuum canning is near done. That's very good. That's going to be very good for us. Don't pay attention to the haters. It's going to be great. Rhineland is supporting separatism once again. That's fine. Yeah, there we go. So this is time modifiers. Our overlord has annexed another subject. They are still going down, though, and relations are improving, despite their attempts to increase separatism in our country, so things should be good to go. Have we got pan-nationalism yet? No, it's in the tier 3s in society. So I could get it. That would give me a little bit more authority to play with, which would be nice. I think I'm okay with our current tech plan. Having few subjects at the same time keeps there from being these weird situations where you know, where we annex one tiny subject and suddenly all of our other subjects are up in arms. And I'm feeling pretty good about how that's going overall. I'm going to keep my expansion aimed northwards. because I think that's the most sensible way to do things. There's vacuum canning. Because I have a long-term goal of forming what the children refer to as a super Germany. Oh my goodness, I need oil. I didn't realize vacuum canning took oil. I don't have pump jacks, but I gotta get it from whaling. That's what I've got to do. So, oil is an industrial good. Let's subvene import. It's going to cost very, very little, ultimately. Alright, we got Switzerland half conquered. West Switzerland should be falling shortly. And that'll put us in a really good spot. Wow, we have had actually a pretty long session here. Pretty long episode here. Recording session, episode, you know how it goes. Delicious water. Alright, Belgium. What do you desire? You get trade privileges. I get trade privileges and investment rights. Sure thing, Belgium. I agree. You want to join the Metternich system? We got everything a body needs. Excellent. So this war is going just fine. Again, it's pushing up the liberty desire of the Rhinelanders. I feel like they gained a bunch immediately, which I think I knew happened, but I think I was forgetting. A campaign of banquets. Joseph Mergenthaler's attendance at a bourgeois fundraising banquet in Vienna has led to an uptick in funds promoting protectionism. As the organizer at the end of the table stood to give a toast to the clear wisdom of the reform, he could not help but think of how closely the sound of his fork on the glass represented a coin falling into a bank or a spent cartridge hitting the ground. Nourishment for the body and the budget, increased enactment time, reduced enactment time, increased enactment success chance, and increased universal political strength in Austria, as well as political strength and wealth, or vast sums of money flowing into politics, you say. Double the bonuses, but he gets the trait grifter, which reduces his popularity. I'm just going to say nourishment for the body and the budget. I don't really have a fear that this won't happen. Rhineland sides with Hesse-Kassel. Okay. There's the annexation of Switzerland completed. Can't get a subject, so that's not going to help me. Let's get incorporating these territories. These are going to go really, really fast. And reset production methods in those areas. Solve their problems. Now, with Bosnia's railways nearing completion, we'll take another look at how things are going there pretty shortly. East Switzerland, pretty good overall setup. West Switzerland, pretty good overall setup. Some shortages and some industries not really being fully utilized. But that's okay. We are seeing a little bit of an increase in standard of living, though, which I'm feeling pretty good about. It's not really driving loyalism in our country yet, but, you know, hopefully one day it will be. So, if I go after the Prussians, where is the... Hold on. Can't launch a unification play because I haven't researched pan-nationalism. To form Germany, I need 23 state regions, of which I am holding only a few. The French are holding Alsace-Lorraine. Soon I'll be holding all of Rhineland. So I could work on knocking out the ones in the south here just to widen our front with Germany. I think that's a reasonable path. Although some of these are going to take a lot of infamy to do.
I'm going to wait until I'm down to 0 infamy just so that I can basically rack up a ton of infamy just seizing all of these territories in a spurt. Because once I've got one, Prussia won't be able to stand in my way anymore, and that'll make things really good for me. On the other hand, I could seize a protectorate over Hanover. That was embarrassing. I could seize a protectorate over... what's this country called again? A lot of people who would potentially stand on their side, but we'll see. Foreign emulation. The successes that the French have seen, that France has seen with its policies of protectionism, have been noticed by supporters of Joseph Mergenthaler, who point towards it as an example of ideal government. Mergenthaler held up a newspaper with an expression of amusement on his face. You see this? This is an admission of victory. It may call us spies, agents of foreign powers, but it also concedes that the change that we desire is not indeed something alien and without precedent. What succeeded in France will succeed in Austria. Kleinberger become unhappy, reduced enactment time, increased enactment success chance. Austria is not France, deteriorates relations, increased enactment success chance. Or why not use the relevant French law as a template? One entire phase, armed forces unhappy. I'm just going to say Austria is not France. I can take the hit from a relations... Relations have been reset. Oh, because they've now come under the... They're a kingdom now, and a legitimist kingdom at that. Fascinating. Alright. That was fascinating. Palat backs down. I didn't even know they were in a situation. Great Britain has a Spanish upper... Oh, Great Britain. Why are you always slicing off bits of countries? You old scamp? You old so-and-so? You notorious bastard? The notorious GB. Well, I must accept. Oh, interesting. We're at war with the Russians, huh? Not exactly what I... Well, that's not too bad. So, not loving our odds here, GB, to be completely honest. Can't add additional war goals because I'm not a... because this isn't that type of a war. Well, Prussia. It seems you've decided to make things interesting. Very interesting indeed. This may be a whole situation for me. So what's my war goal? I think I want to... Oh, man. There are so many things I can seize. First of all, I can transfer Hohenzollern. That's obvious. But I don't think I want that as my primary. I think I want conquering Niederschlesien as my... Oh, that's a lot of infamy, though. Ooh. I have a lot of countries I could sway, though. And they have very few people they could bring in. I'm gonna go a little buck wild here. I'm gonna conquer Niederschlesien. I'm gonna transfer Hohenzollern. And then, you know, we'll see what happens. So this army can go over here. This is now a major war. So we're definitely gonna start going absolutely buck wild here.
I'm going to spend a ton of cash raising armies on this, but this is gonna be worth it. And yeah, well, them's the breaks. Alright, so now I'm so infamous that Rhineland is getting fighty with me. So, this army is going to go onto defense for the time being. Because again, I basically only need to distract the Russians. This army, we're going to set their strategic objective to Brandenburg, as always. The Spark of Revolution. The fall of the monarchy and declaration of the French Republic is spread a tidal wave of revolution. France, why? You had a king again for like a week, and now you're doing a republic. Oh, incredible. 1 billion out of 10. France, never change. Literally, do not. If you change, I'm going to regime change you back. I'm kidding. I can't take the infamy. I understand there is some concern that weaponry used in the Austrian Revolution might find its way into neighboring countries and end up in the wrong hands. I fear not the gunpowder, but what might ignite it. Not every man desires power for its own sake, but if he is convinced that he has been cheated out of his share, he may view it as his duty to claim it. What could be more dangerous than the idea that power belongs to the people? Who will lead Austria into the future? Increased radical movement attraction. 5% of lower stratum pops and 2% of middle stratum pops become more radical, or we will not let these ideals divide us. 25% stronger radical movement instead of 50%, and 2% of lower stratum pops become more radical instead of 5% and 2% of middle stratum. I'm definitely going to pick that second one. I don't desire a radical movement. We'll see how things go. The springtime of the peoples. Spurred by revolutionary sentiments spreading across Europe. The radical movement is becoming widespread in Austria. Whether we support or oppose them, this heralds a time of great change and reaction. The people of the Austrian nation have a right to rule themselves, free from the clutches of kings and aristocrats who hoard hereditary power. We have made our demands clear. They will be met, or we shall take to the streets. We will win our freedom with the blood of martyrs if we have to. Support the conservative establishment. Reduce enactment time. Increase political movement activism. Stronger liberal, radical, cultural minority, German national, Italian national movement pop attraction. Extra suppression impact on political movement attraction. 20% of upper stratum pops become more loyalist, 5% of lower and middle stratum pops become more radical, or support the radical movement. Reduce enactment time, increase political movement activism, double the bonuses to movement attraction for all those same movements, 5% of all pops become more radical. Josef Schäfer, the leader of the Landvolk, will become a radical. I'm going to support the conservative establishment. We are keeping things steady. So, I'm going to sway Great Britain in here with a call ally. They will definitely say yes and help us fight the Prussians. And hopefully that will not prove a mistake. Doesn't look like anyone's more likely to side with Prussia. Do I want Medina, Parma, and Rhineland in here? I don't think so. Rhineland is now going up in Liberty Desire at a pretty significant rate, but again, if I can hold out for a year and change, I can get my infamy down and that'll be fine. I'm not going to add any more war goals on that. So this is going to be a little dicey. Civilizing mission, that's fine. So what we're going to... Oh. Echoes of Revolutions. The current of radical liberal thought is spreading internationally and has recently reached Austria. Why should I concern myself with the freedom of the press? All they print is rubbish. If you knew what sort of rubbish doesn't make it to print, you'd find the distinction between varieties more important than you think. Let's see what they have to say. Joseph Shuffle becomes a radical, he becomes a revolutionary hero. Or sounds like our menace, he becomes a radical, but he becomes treasonous traitor. So the first one is he becomes way more popular, the second one way less. I'm going to pick the second one. He sounds like a menace. The whole Spain thing is happening. Spain might step in on this, but it is what it is if they do. I'm going to keep my main army on defense for the time being, and we'll see what happens. Gah! I'm low on government. I need more government. I'm ungoverned. Is it Württemberg that's low on taxation capacity? No, it's still Baden. Are you not hiring? No, they're hired. Maybe they're just growing really fast. Anyway, that's fine. Let's throw in... we'll do 2 levels more of taxation capacity here. That'll also cover our shortage of government admin. A novel solution. Wow, protectionism is taking its sweet time. A novel solution. Joseph Mergenthaler's book of published works is a popular, in Joseph Mergenthaler's body of published works, is a popular new book with a vision of what protectionism might look like. Lawyers affiliated with the armed forces say the contents are legally sound. Most of the time, fiction is merely that, something to pass the time. Sometimes, a true vision of possibility creeps through. Once in a blue moon, well-written fiction can change how people think. Every so often from there, however, it might be mistaken for divination. Canvass the public about this light reading. Morgenthaler becomes more popular, stronger and happier armed forces, increased enactment success chance. Procure a copy with our compliments to the author. 10% more enactment success chance instead of 5%. Costs the government some money. Armed forces get stronger but not happier. Or fiction should remain entertainment. Extra authority and extra enactment success chance. Ooh. I want the authority. I shouldn't have done it. It wasn't worth it. Saxe-Weimar supporting separatism. It's okay. Alright, our force comparison on the Russian front is not as good as it could be, but I'm feeling pretty okay. I'm going to send this army to actually advance. There's the Steam Donkey, that's a pretty good tech. So let's take a quick walk through Springtime of the Peoples, and you can see what this does. Those of you who are familiar with my runs should know this event goes... this is a long-standing event. Discontent with the post-Napoleonic reactionary order has exploded in a tidal wave of radical sentiment across Europe. Liberal revolutionaries hoist tricolor flags and cry out for liberty, equality, and fraternity. Barricades in Vienna. If a liberal or socialist political movement becomes insurrectionary in Austria whilst this journal entry is active, revolutionary forces may attempt to seize power in our capital. Results in a revolutionary victory of at least one of these. Austria has been forced to enact a democratic constitution. Any Austrian interest group is part of the government and is liberal or radical. At least one of these, we've enacted census suffrage or universal suffrage. So we need both of these. We need a radical or liberal interest group in the government, and we need census or universal suffrage. On a revolutionary victory triggers the event Red Spring. Will result in a conservative victory if the following has been true for 12 consecutive months. Support for radical movement is equal to or less than 10%. Radical movement is being suppressed. No Austrian leader or agitator has the radical ideology. So, I need to get suppressing the radical movement. In order to do that, I need to cut some consumption taxes, which is unfortunate for my finances, but them's the breaks. And then the other thing that I need is not to have any radical leaders. So how many of those have I got? Just one. No, 2. I've got 2. One heading up the intelligentsia, and one leading the landvolk. Can I exile him? I can. Can I arrange accident? I can. Good chance of killing him with an assassination. There's the war with Prussia kicking off. So, what are my options in terms of arranging an accident? 54% chance he dies. 33% chance it fails. 12% chance that we get a major scandal, and the liberal movement becomes stronger.
Law progressed to assent. Wonderful. The good word of the revolution. Proponents of liberal reforms are looking to spread their ideas to neighboring countries. What if the revolution fails? What if the Austrian people are not ready for these ideas? Then we will have planted 1,000 seeds, and when Austria is ready, the fruit of those trees will seed our future. What we are, they will be. Rhineland gets echoes of revolution, but the landfolk and intelligentsia become happier. That's interesting. Or this contagion must be contained. It doesn't, and they get weaker. I'm actually going to go with the first one. Getting those revolutionary interest groups happier is good for us overall. Relations are good. Damn, they're getting a support independence. That's gonna suck. That's okay. So, I was talking about assassinating the head of the intelligentsia. Let's do it. Alright, now they've got a technocrat in charge, and then, Joseph Schöffel, you're exiled. Alright, so now I should be fulfilling all of my conditions for a conservative victory. If I can hold this for 12 months, I'll be good to go. Alright, on the Prussian border, we are successfully defending, or on the Russian border, we're successfully defending. On the Prussian border, we are... Well, the war has only just started. We're going forward in Hohenzollern. We're definitely winning these battles. And that's actually Hohenzollern fully occupied. We're also going forward in Prussia, so that's also very good. Force comparison here is looking a lot better, so we're about to seize this territory, and that should be just fine. Our fleet took a hit, but that's just fine. No problems with that. I haven't been paying as much attention to Bosnia as I should like. Things are still really bad here. But construction efficiency isn't too bad. Let's build ourselves 10 levels of tobacco plantations. And, you know, it's going to cost us a pile of cash, but it's going to be worth it. Swap a few more construction centers over to steel frame. I kind of fell off the steel frame bandwagon. There's protectionism, finally. Wow, we are just devouring Prussia. This is a joke. This side of the war is just a joke. That's really funny. Again, hopefully we can get Rhineland moving down and Liberty Desire. Okay, knowledge sharing. Let's do it. It's gonna delay it at least. Right now we're spending a lot of cash, but hopefully building up these tobacco plants in Bosnia is actually let's build more of these. Let's build 20 levels. All right, Great Britain has crushed Spanish secession. That's great. We are still continuing to move forward in Prussia. All right, so now in Prussia we've got all of our war goals. Oh wait, no, we don't. Not quite yet. Right, yes. No, we do. Alright. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. We're doing great. So now, the only thing which remains is simply to shove forward until we have conquered all of Prussia. And that means even more North German territory fully under our control, which is very good, because we're slowly chipping away at Prussia's ability to function. Obviously, I'm costing myself a pile of cash, but the more of these peasants get employed as farmers and tobacco plants, the better Bosnia will be doing. Let's also go wood maxing. The matter of Hungary doesn't seem to be sorting itself out. I thought I'd gotten average acceptance up to 75 per
to 75, but perhaps I'm misunderstanding how that works. Springtime of the Peoples is progressing another 6 months until it will be a conservative victory, which is very good. Prussia continues to lose, and lose hard. Give me all the things. Oh, you still won't, huh? Well, I guess I'll just have to make Blues Brothers noises. If you haven't seen the Blues Brothers, it's a rollicking good time. It's weird, but it's really, really fun, in my humble opinion. Probably going to need more government admin. Is there government admin here? There is not, actually. Well, that's going to be a pain, but, you know, them's the breaks. Right, this should be enough to steal all that which I wish to steal. Gimme land. Gimme fuel. Gimme fire. Gimme chunks of Germany. This place is definitely going to need more taxation capacity, so... Oop. Hold on. I don't need those railways. I need government admin. Oh boy, they're gonna take forever. This is tough. This is tough. This is not great here. I'm temporarily embarrassed. The state of my economy is embarrassing. Oh, I lost an admiral. I need an admiral over here. Let me see. You're historical, Admiral Wilhelm von Tegethoff, and you're also historical, Admiral Archduke Friedrich von Habsburg-Lothringen. Yeah, you seem incredible. Let's add you to the thing. Yeah, Prussia's supporting separatism. I bet you are. They can't take how cool I am. Dangerous equipment. The furniture manufacturers in Nordsiebenbürgen have seen an increase in workplace injuries due to increased mechanization and poor safety regulations. Accidents have always happened, but I felt like I used to have time to react. Not this time. I grabbed his arm to pull him out of the way, but I barely got a hold of his wrist before the arm was all I held on to. Slow down the machinery while the staff adjusts to this new... Slow down production while the staff adjusts to the new machinery. Reduce manufacturing output for 5 years, industrialists mad. Or we can't pull the brakes on the engines of industry. Extra mortality, trade unionists mad. I'm going to go with the first one. Better afford to piss off the industrialists. Okay, so... I'm incorporating this territory, which has pretty severe turmoil. I'm building up the necessary taxation capacity. So that's good. So I think I'm going to go until the end of the Springtime of the Peoples. This has been a very long episode, a very long session, but I'm feeling really good, and I'm feeling a great deal of success. There's aniline. That's a huge thing for us. That means we can produce our own silk. We can make it out of, I think, wood or maybe sulfur or something like that. That'd be really good. Let's steel frame max. Let's max out steel frames. All right, we're actually really good on steel. The main thing we're short on is glass, but the private sector will have to handle it because I don't have any money. Yeah, they're starting to build it now. I tell you what. Good, healthy private sector, private construction queue there. Government admin still getting built. And we're finishing out all these logging camps in Bosnia. So, again, hopefully what this means is that the population here will be that the standard of living will be going up, which it seems like it is, at least a little. And with that, turmoil will be going down, which it is. All right, it is. We're doing well here. We've achieved useful things. And the government admin here in Niederschlesien is still hiring. Taking their sweet time about it as well. But hopefully, as this goes up, number one, it'll solve our bureaucracy issue, and number two, it'll get our taxation capacity up. Because this place should incorporate really fast. Yeah, well, 4 years. That's okay. Springtime of the Peoples. Reactionary Dude? What the hell? Oh, the radical movement is... Oh, what happened? But I was suppressing them. Gosh dang it. Okay, so I'm not going to have a conservative victory that way. How's taxation capacity? Württemberg is a little bit bad, and Böhmen is a little bad. So we'll build a few more government admins in those states to build that up. Again, I'm just kind of trying to get my bureaucracy situation sorted out. Because I don't want to be low in bureaucracy. Come on, give me a little bit longer on my notoriety, and then I'll be all set. It'll be just peachy. Just peachy. Once we get below 50. Because once I get below 50, I think Rhineland will, their liberty desire will stop going up. And then I'll have all the time in the world to get them further down in liberty desire, because they will not be... the increase to their liberty desire that I got from annexing Switzerland will not be around forever. Alright. They're still... Okay, they're going back down now. Alright, beautiful. So, this means they're not getting support from abroad at this point. Interesting. There's still a British Raj happening. Which means I think Britain actually won that war. Or something. Maybe they actually got their stuff together, but I don't think so. Yeah, no. Still low, still low, gosh, what do you call it? Oh man, my brain is toast. My brain is absolutely deep fried. It's too late at night for this. They didn't get their standard of living up. 2 Sicilies left the Metternich system. How dare? How absolute dare? Desire to puppet intensifies. Hey, let's talk about a treaty. And, you know, give me investment rights. We're currently aloof. Okay, they're going down in liberty desire, but not fast. Can I see how long... Overlord annexed another subject. Okay, that's another 32 months, so that's not too long. I do have the ability to diplomatic play, reduce their autonomy. But I don't think I desire to do that. For one thing, my infamy is kind of out of control. For another thing, my government debt is kind of out of control. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I have a revolutionary radical movement right now. You know, that's not great. What if I became a fake... Ooh. If I went to National Guard from Secret Police, that would actually reduce my, reduce the activism of my radical movement. A lot of people would be pleased by this. Let's do it. Let's do it. I would get a lot of loyalists from movements. I'm doing it. Professional Army, National Guard. Let's do it. Radical movement, stop being revolutionary. Alright, so that'll buy us more than enough time for the Springtime of the Peoples to sort itself out. Greece has been cut in half and is exploding. But that's okay. That's nobody's business but the Greeks. I so want to simply start devouring small states in Germany, but I simply can't. I simply can't. I cannot become a devourer of small states in Germany. Not now. Not at this time in history. Glass is still quite expensive. Let's build up some more glassworks. Again, I know that my I can't really afford to be building all this stuff. I am desperately trying to get my my cash flow to a situation where it's not totally... I believe the technical term is upgefucked. Oh my gosh. I can't take that level of construction inefficiency. Where's Partium? I don't know. Where are you? You're over here. Congratulations, Partium. You're gonna get some glassworks. And then we'll build some in Württemberg. And we'll build some more in Württemberg. Sorry, East Switzerland, you're too chaotic right now. I don't know why. I don't know why things are going so crazy over there in East Switzerland, but I can't trust it. I can't just be building glassworks in a chaotic area. Can-do attitude. Soldiers are complaining they have no way to open their canned food. Sure, the food's a bit better, but what's the point if we can't get at it, eh? Some lads use rocks, others knives. The only reliable thing is how bloody annoying it is to eat. Spend some money to develop a way. It's a lot of money. Or they'll figure it out. Armed forces unhappy -2. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to support our troops with canned food. Right, well, this is going to cost us a lot of cash, but it's going to be worth it. Glassworks getting built up is good for the economy, and it produces more glass for the construction sector, which is going to reduce costs long term. Oh man, all the things I want to do cost a lot of infamy. It's tough. It's tough. It's hard to be a big Germany in the middle of the world. You know, maybe when we finish with hand-cranked machine gun, we take a second to snag pan-nationalism. I think that's what we do, friends. And I think maybe after that we do ID documents. And then... And, you know, maybe we knock out corporatism. No, we got corporatism spreading. We're good to go with that. Wait. Are we still missing some tier 2s in society? No. Okay, we're good. We're fine. So then... After that... We military, 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 military. Because I think I want... Where do I have a famine? Niederschleusen. What's going on with you, Niederschleusen? Why so hungry? Wow. Oh, holy shit. Niederschleusen's down bad. Subsidize these rye farms. In fact... I think we need these rye farms more than we need the glassworks. Well, we're gonna get both, but... Okay, this is really bad. What's going on here? How do we... How do I deal with this? Let's build up some more trade capacity. Infrastructure is just fine. There's a famine. I know there's a famine. Local prices. Yeah, okay, so there's a shortage of grain. So once we've built up these farms, that should be sorted. And there's National Guard. Alright, beautiful. So now, we're still... That was really fast. Golly. Well, hopefully the Springtime of the Peoples will be just fine, and then the radical movement will be happy with what we've got. The Kleinberger and the radical movement. That's curious. Oh, because they got a Republican heading up the joint. Well, that's fine. Them's the breaks. Alright, one more week until these rye farms are finished. And these are subsidized, so they're continuing to hire. So that should produce a ton of grain. Alright, they are going up in employment. And that should be driving the price of grain downward, which it is. Another week goes by, their output will go up, and that effect will continue. There we go. Alright, so it's going down, so that means... Nope. Still a starvation issue. Okay. What if we build ourselves some food industries? It's going to take a long time due to the high level of turmoil in the country. I'm suppressing violence in Bosnia right now. I can stop doing that and start doing it here. We'll state sway with Sardinia and Piedmont about a revolt in Sardinia and Piedmont. Rhineland sides with Parma. Or something else. Alright, so what is... So... Okay, so... The relief is working. And the construction of the food industry should maybe solve the rest? I guess we'll see. Not building at a great rate, but we are doing okay. Again, having a little bit of a hard time telling why there's some... Hold on. Food security. Here, Stason, talk to me. You're not producing any fruit. So I can help with that. And you're not producing enough meat. Let's see. Yes, we need apple orchards, because that creates fruit production. And that creates more variety in the diet, which improves the nutrition situation. Okay, that didn't help as much as I was hoping. Local prices. Fruit is affordable. Grain is moderately affordable. Maybe I simply construct more farms? I think that's probably the way to go here. Because this starvation number is going up. And I'm going to need more farms to support the food industries I'm building. Again, I'm sorry if this seems really nitpicky. This is sudden, and this effect is really, really strong. Are we experiencing a weird event here? Other than having been taken over from Prussia? Like, I don't think so. So once these are finished... Well, once these are finished, at least, we'll take another look at the food security thing. Okay, alright. So we built more rye farms, and now the starvation is going away. We don't have anyone in severe starvation now, and that's good. So once we got food industries, which are being produced at a moderate rate, we'll be doing. We'll have native supply of groceries, and that'll help. The Great Train Smash. An enterprising entertainer has arranged for 2 aging locomotives to run into each other at a local fair. The resulting collision may pose danger to the crowd, although that hasn't stopped Vaclav Wysocki. Vaclav Wysocki? I think that's Vaclav. My Polish pronunciation is really weak. Anyway, he's the leader of the Catholic Church, and this hasn't stopped him from declaring that he'll have a front row seat at the event. For crying out loud, why? Why do you want to see a crash so badly? Honestly, I believe that somewhere in the makeup of every normal person, myself included, there lurks the suppressed desire to smash things up. Everyone enjoyed the spectacle. He becomes more popular. 90% chance extra loyalists from political movements for 2 years. 10% chance he dies, and 2% of pops become more radical or forbidden from risking his life. Catholic Church becomes unhappy. Same other things, but he can't die. Everyone enjoy the spectacle. Alright, sorry, I'm not trying to be a lobster about this. I just want to finish out these food industries because I want to make sure that Niederschlesien becomes okay. Because if the country is not okay, then things will be very, very bad for a long, long time. Lobbyist lectures in Vienna. A man employed by a powerful member of the Austrian-British Fellowship is delivering lectures and pamphlets addressed to targeted constituencies in Vienna. One lawmaker writes to a fellow politician, "Each day he finds me. I know not how. I am quite disturbed. What are his aims? That hired emissary of the Austrian-British Fellowship haunts the doors of the Austrian Assembly much like the ghost of the murdered Banquo. Make it clear, lobbies are responsible for the emissaries they hire. Industrialists weaker, extra legitimacy, or any concerns about the emissaries' behaviors are unfounded, industrialists stronger." What's my legitimacy at? I'm going to go for the legitimacy. A little bit more legitimacy, that's good for the country overall. Alright, so there's the food industries now running. They are hiring. They are going up in profitability. And they are producing groceries. And if they continue to hire, then that should... It's in market. Okay, so starvation is going down now. The demand for... there's modern nursing, that's wonderful. The demand for grain is increasing a little, but the demand for... Gosh dang it, it's getting worse now. Dang it. I beefed it. The revolution vanquished. The effort at a liberal revolution led by radical leaders in Austria has been suppressed by the powers that be reasserting their power and pushing the radicals into obscurity. There have always been efforts by the lower and middle classes to seize power, but they rarely manage to hold on to it once they have it. It is fortunate that this attempt has been brief and fruitless, or untold damage could have been done to the traditions and social order of Austria. Franz Joseph von Habsburg-Lothringen will rule firmly but justly. We switch it back over to a secret police. Interesting. And 25 extra legitimacy. Or the people will not be swept up in such rabble-rousing. 10% of pops become more loyalist. And we switch over to secret police. Curious. I'm just going to go for 10% of pops becoming loyal. Because that's bananas. How much loyalism is that?
Not bad. Not bad at all. Feeling pretty good. Alright, let's build some more rye farms, I guess. Because I think that's the primary thing we gotta do. Oh, actually, maybe build more livestock ranches as well? I just gotta increase the food supply here. Lombardy armaments. That's not real. I don't care. That's not my company. I guess maybe the population here was just very high, and so it was very weird. Anyway, so this should... maybe the radical... Okay, so the radical movement is going to go up in activism now that I've got secret police again, which I hadn't intended, but it is interesting. And does protectionism mean anything else? No, they just like protectionism and... Oh boy, something's going on in Denmark. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Denmark is trying to unify Scandinavia, and Prussia is trying to stop them. Interesting. And I can't support the Danes because I simply don't can't support the Danes because they're not interested, and I got a truce with the Prussians anyway. Alright. So Catholic Church are happier. Alright, so we made it through the Springtime of the Peoples as our reactionary state without having anything go too bad. I think that's just going to be the state of affairs for a bit, because I genuinely don't know what else to do. I'm paying so much cash into these rye farms, and I don't know that it's... Maybe the answer to this is we actually need improved fertilizers. Maybe that's the real answer here. But I don't know why. It doesn't seem like we're having any problems with any other place. Anyway, soon... I felt like we were doing so good with them. Well, actually, nah, because Rhineland... The annexed subject thing is almost done. And after that, we'll be smooth sailing with Rhineland. Let me see. With that having been said, wow, we are over 3 hours. It's been a long episode. We've gotten a lot done. As you can see, Austria is larger. I forgot I turned Hohenzollern into a protectorate. I should be improving relations with them, so I'm going to quickly do that. So, you know, I'm going to need to annex them too, but not within any reasonable time frame. No one can stop me from doing that in any meaningful way. So it's going to be... Rhineland is going to be first in all things. Hohenzollern is also, like... They're already going down in Liberty Desire pretty significantly because they're totally dependent on me economically, and they're very weak overall. So yeah. Fervor of shared primary cultures. That's really funny. That's a really interesting note to have here. Hohenzollern is technically a South German country, so they desire to be annexed by me. All right, that's nice. I like that. That's very good. So yeah, we've built a stunk and thick Austria. We're rapidly shooting towards pan-nationalism, which will allow us to form ourselves a Germany.
We've continued to bash away at our rivals, the Prussians. And we've got more and more of Germany now under our control. Central Europe, it's going to be a process. But Germany at least, we are progressing towards being able to form. 23 out of 31 regions, which we currently have full control over 12. So it's going to be a long process, but we're going to get 3 in Rhineland, and that's going to give us full control over Rhineland, the state. And, we'll see what happens when we go from there. If I can do another war, once I've got Rhineland, if I can do another war with Prussia and grab Westphalen, and maybe also Braunschweig, then I can just sort of eat these small states kind of at my leisure. If I can grab all 3 of these, I'm getting a little ambitious. I can't necessarily rush multilateral alliances, but yeah, we've made a lot of good progress in terms of law changes. We went to cultural exclusion, we went to total separation of church and state, we went to protectionism. We're leaving most of the social structure the way it is, although we've restricted child labor now, which is good. And yeah, overall we're doing really well. We beat we secured a conservative victory in the Springtime of the Peoples event, which is no small feat. We got a lot of loyalists out of that. That's made our politics a lot easier to manage. I say as I have a lot of angry interest groups, but we're doing it. We're doing it, friends. Maybe we'll pull in the intelligentsia and go to a technocracy. Who knows? With that having been said, that is all the time we've got for this episode, my nerds. I have had great fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.